Have. Alrighty, Tom Petrovski, thank you. Well, as the coalition splinters again over energy policy, Chris Bowen has served up his own verdict of the coalition's net zero review.
The coalition's having a big review of net zero. The National Party's appointed a very thorough independent reviewer in Senator Canavan. Appointing Senator Canavan to review net zero is a bit like putting Coldplay in charge of Kiss Cam. It doesn't necessarily lead to a happy marriage.
Joining us live now is National Senator M.Canavan. He seemed to enjoy that one, Matt.
Yes, I mean, it seems like the Labor Party has only one thing to talk about in the last fortnight, and that's us, the Liberal and Nationals Party. You know, if they were actually doing a good job on energy policy, they'd be spruiking that. But the fact that they can't do that speaks volumes. They promised when they signed up to net zero that they'd lower your energy bills. It hasn't happened. And that's why they're constantly talking about the Liberal and Nationals Party, not on their own performance. And so, look, Chris perhaps needs to forget about the kiss cam and take out a mirror and hold up a mirror to what the government has done to the Australian people, what they're doing to our manufacturing industry, which we're losing in droves. Maybe focus on that for a change.
Right, but isn't it money for jam, though, for Labor at the moment while the coalition is splintered over net zero?
Well, look, we've got to get our house in order before the next election. I mean, the next election's 3 years away. I mean, again, why would the government be focusing on us right now rather than doing a good job? And the fact is they're just not being able to do that, so that's why they're doing that. I mean, I would argue that the last term of Parliament we didn't work these things out. We need to work out where we stand on issues. We should be not be shying away from these debates. And once we do that, then we're in a much more competitive position. I mean, I take the comparison to the period after the 2007 election. There were 2 leadership changes in the Liberal Party. There were massive fights on climate change policy, energy policy, even within 6 months of the election in 2010. And then, effectively, the Tony Abbott-led opposition won the 2010 election. It was only a couple of country independents. So this idea that somehow you can't have a debate and that's electoral suicide is ridiculous. It's proven to be not true. What is ridiculous is not having the debates, is thinking that you can put these sort of problems under a carpet, hide them, and they'll go away. They won't. The last election showed that. So we need to have this fulsome debate. We've never had a debate in the joint party room about net zero. Amazing. I mean, it's one of the most important radical changes to our economy in a generation. And we have shied away in the Liberal National Party room from actually having debate. Let's have that on. Let's bring that on.
On your review, though, Matt, I mean, we know clearly what your position is on net zero. So is this review going to come up with anything different?
Well, I'm not going to change my position on net zero. I've held that adamantly for many years. But I'll be presenting findings to the Nationals Party room. It's up to the Nationals Party room to decide where they go. Not only have we not had a debate, we haven't had a proper costings of what this is all going to cost Australians. The Labor Party hasn't done that. We haven't done that. As I say, this is a massive change and there's going to be huge impacts on right across Australia. It's really important we do proper economic analysis of what that means. Now, even if we were to keep net zero, we should be doing that work. But as I say, look, I don't think this is working. I mean, I think the evidence is in now after 3 years. It's led to higher power prices. We've lost 3 major industries in nickel, plastics and urea. We're on the cusp of losing many more at the moment with copper, aluminium, lead, all on steel, all on the chopping block. It's about time we recognise that this is not working. Net zero is not working for Australians, and when something's not working, you dump it.
Well, meanwhile, Chris Bowen's announcing today, Matt, an increase to the number of renewables projects that it will underwrite to speed up the clean energy rollout.
Well, why do they need subsidies? I mean, Chris tells us always that these things are the cheapest form of power. Why does the government need to throw more taxpayer money at them to prop them up? That's what he's announcing today. He's announcing more of your money going to international investors, to the banks who are backing these projects. I mean, that's the only people that are benefiting from net zero are banks, investors and foreign energy companies. They're the people benefiting from it. The average Australian has just suffered ever since we've adopted net zero, and today's announcement will just mean more suffering. The other thing that's being announced today that Chris is clearly trying to cover up is that his own government, his own analysis shows that coal is the cheapest form of power. That has always been the case. The CSIRO have had a number of dodgy assumptions on coal to cover that up, but those assumptions are finally running out. What they were doing was using the Ukraine increases in coal prices to cover up the fact that coal is the cheapest form of power. Now that we're getting further away from Ukraine, they can't cover it up any longer, and it shows that coal is cheaper. So why, if coal is the cheapest form of power, isn't the government using it? I mean, my view is that we should use our energy resources. We should plan our energy system with the main priority of delivering low power prices to Australian families and businesses. That should be the main priority. But this is not the government's main priority. Their main priority is to reach this mythical net zero emissions target by 2050. And they are compromising your cost of living, the power bills of all Australians in their pursuit of to achieve that.
Well, Chris Bowen, still on Chris Bowen, and he might have a friend in the UN climate chief who's used some quite dramatic language. Fruit and vegetables is going to be a once-in-a-year treat for us in the years ahead if we don't accelerate emissions reduction. I didn't see any criticisms of other countries who are shall we say, putting more emissions into the atmosphere than we are by some margin. But so going by that claim, it's our fault.
I mean, look, these guys are off for the fairies. I mean, they always say this. They said the dams wouldn't fill up again. They said it wouldn't rain again. It wouldn't snow again. All of these things have been proven wrong. And it's crazy. I mean, agricultural production has never been high around the world. I mean, partly, carbon dioxide is actually plant food. So how does that work? How does it work that we're not going to be able to grow fruit and vegetables if we've got carbon dioxide in the atmosphere? I mean, it's insane. It's ridiculous. And we cannot be led by people. It's about time we're not led by people that have clearly not got a proper grasp on how the world works. That's why we're in this mess. And now, clearly, Chris Bowen wants to bring this climate jamboree to Australia next year. That's why he's got this UN guy here. He's trying to pitch that Australia hosts this event. When the UK hosted a climate conference, it cost $500 million. This will be Voice 2.0. This will be Voice 2.0 if we have the climate change conference here next year, where we waste $500 million odd on something that's not going to change anything. And as you say, there'll be no criticism at such a climate conference of the fact that China has increased coal mining by 564 million tonnes a year since it signed up to net zero. That's more than we produce in coal in any year.
Well,
and that's the increase that China has had
United
in
States,
3 years.
India,
oh, yeah. India's up 250 odd. Indonesia has increased their coal mining by 222 million tonnes a year. We are being taken for mugs. And that's why Australians are paying way more for power, for everyday goods than they should be.
All right, Matt, we'll leave it there. Good to see you.